Welcome to the Aligned Powerhouse, the podcast for executive women who are done leading from burnout and ready to rise from alignment. I'm your host, Dr. Brittany McGeehan, licensed psychologist, high performance and mindset coach, and guide for high-achieving women who are ready to lead, live, and love without abandoning themselves. Here, we unpack the nervous system truths, mindset shifts, and emotional patterns that drive your leadership so you can build power from the inside out. Let's get into it. Hello, and welcome to the first episode of the Aligned Powerhouse Podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Brittany McGeehan. I'm a licensed psychologist and a high performance and mindset coach for women who are ready to redefine success on their own terms. And when I was thinking about what I wanted to talk about with this first episode, I really kind of went back and forth. If you know me, you know that I love to talk. But I decided that I really wanted to address this idea of the rescuer reflex, because this is something that is so consistent with all of my clients. And I think a very fundamental misunderstanding whenever it comes to understanding what healthy and aligned leadership actually can look like and should look like for women. So if you are the woman who is like, give me the ball, I'm going to make the goal. If it is, don't worry about it, I'm just going to go ahead and step in because someone on my team, whether that is at home, maybe it's your partner, or it is in the office and they are fumbling the play, right? So you decide, I'm going to go ahead and step in and I'm just going to get things done. So we hit our numbers so the P&Ls are not affected. I am talking to you. And if you are this woman, I want you to pull out a notebook because there are going to be some areas that you want to take notes. I know who you are. I am you. I want you to buckle up. Today, we are unpacking not only what the rescuer reflex is, but we're also going to talk through some ways to step into aligned leadership, because here is the reality. Self-abandonment and martyrdom is not aligned and healthy leadership. This is not something that we have to stay in just because that we have earned a seat at a certain table. All right, so let's jump in with what exactly is the rescuer reflex. So something that is very important to understand is that the rescuer reflex is not just a mindset issue. This isn't if I just think in a different way or I give myself a nice little reframe, all of a sudden I'm going to believe and behave in a different way. Absolutely not. This is a nervous system and wired response based on the way that you were raised. Let me explain what I mean. Our nervous systems, and therefore the bulk of our personalities, our behavioral patterns, our thought processes, all of these things are developing actually in utero and up until the age of, I would say, 18-23. This is why my work focuses on this age frame, because we are all about efficiency. Let's get in and let's get out. Let's move on with our lives, right? So what we know is that our personality is developed based on the way that we were interacted with as a child. So for these women who it is like an itch, they can't not step in and fix things, okay? It is a compulsion to save. It is a compulsion to fix things. And not only that, but to anticipate the needs and to carry everyone's needs in the room before they even ask them, right? Another word for this is hypervigilance, and it's actually a trauma response. But we know, and what I have seen with hundreds of these women is that these are the same women who were little girls in family systems, and they were told, hey, be a good girl and go help your mom. Or, oh, wow, you are such a good girl. Look at how you are being so kind and you are helping your brother. Oh my goodness. They are the golden child. They are the ones who earn their worth based on the way that they help other people. So here's the way that this plays out, because families, everyone has a system, right? And if you are in senior leadership, you understand family systems because it is group, right? It is dynamics. And everyone gets a job, okay? In a family, this is just the way that things are. If y'all did not have jobs, that's fantastic. You should write a book. But typically everyone has a job. And more unhealthy family patterns, what we see is that everyone is really stuck in that job. And if you try to step out of it, so if you try to step out of not being the golden child, not taking care of the people around you, then it's what's wrong with you. Are you feeling okay? My daughter, my good little girl would never do that, right? And so over time, they are groomed essentially into believing it is their job to take care of the people around them. Okay. And here's the thing is that in early adulthood, in early childhood, excuse me, to lose connection with your parent is a threat to the nervous system. Think about that as a baby, right? As an infant, if you lose connection with your caregiver, that is the equivalent of death. You are incapable of caring for yourself on your own. So you have to remain in contact with them. Now, the nervous system typically doesn't know that all of a sudden you are a 45-year-old adult woman who's really freaking tired of anticipating every single thing that not only her boss needs, but also that her husband needs at home. And she's no longer 5 years old. You're no longer 5 years old, and it's not a threat to lose connection with this role, this thing. Right. So what happens is these women are groomed in these systems and they start to attribute their sense of belonging and safety in fixing. When there is discomfort in the room, their nervous system says, you better fix it and fix it now because this is unsafe. So this is why I say this is a nervous system pattern, not just a mindset issue of let's put on a different reframe and then like poof, it's all going to be fine. It feels like a compulsion. It is a compulsion in the body that is stemming from a very young part of the brain, right? It's stemming from that limbic system, one of the very first parts of your brain that is developed. And so going against that can almost feel like going against your natural behavioral patterns. So here's the thing that really keeps us stuck, though, is this is also something that is very societally acceptable, right? It looks like love. It sounds like love. This is leadership. Oh my gosh, especially senior leadership, right? This is servant-hearted leadership, construed version of that, misconstrued version of that. But we are told that good people help other people. And oftentimes, if you have someone in particular, a woman who comes up and who says, hey, I'm actually not capable of overextending. My plate is as full as I would like for it to be, and I'm not able to take this on, that is not very well received. Right? Then we hear that it is blamed. We're blamed because we had kids. We are blamed because we are emotional. Fill in the blank. But really, truly setting those boundaries not only feels innately unsafe and foreign, but it's also typically not very well received. So the reason that senior level women in leadership are prone to the rescuer reflex in particular is because they are operating in the upper echelon, right? This is an extreme, and it shouldn't be that way, but it is that way. Whenever we look at the numbers, the women who are taking up spaces at these tables, they are few and far in between. Therefore, they have had to get there and they've had to be twice as good at their job in order to earn a seat at that table. So you are really pushing yourself to the extreme, right? This isn't a pattern, this pushing yourself, going above and beyond, saying, I am going to rise to the occasion tenfold. This isn't something that just shows up in adulthood. This is something that we have learned. Again, our nervous system is already prone. It is calibrated to help push us into this upper echelon, this upper extreme. So we are already used to going above and beyond. Again, think about that overlap. The women who they were the good girls, the rescuers, the golden child, they already had that template created for them in childhood. And they just hit copy and paste. And all of a sudden, poof, now I'm called a leader. But it is the exact same pattern. Take care of everyone around you. Don't worry about yourself. This is also where, and this is what I call the Powerhouse Paradox, right? Which so many women are like, oh my gosh, tell me more about that. And the Powerhouse Paradox is essentially this idea that the exact skills that got you into a place of senior leadership are the skills that you developed in childhood, right? And all of this bleeds into real life because this may be fantastic for your company. This may be fantastic for your P&L statement, but I will tell you, it is not great for your sex life. It is not fantastic for a healthy marriage dynamic that wants ebb and wants flow and you want to be able to walk in the door and take off the CEO hat and really truly feel supported and seen and carried, right? Because you're still pushing into the give, 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 give. It's impossible to receive if you are always in a place of giving. So here's the reason, here's where this truly becomes an issue, right? We know that women in C-suite are burning out 3 times what their male counterparts are. And we also know that they are good for business. We know that they are able to expand and reach additional markets. We know that they have a tremendous positive impact on those bottom lines. We need women in these spaces, but we need them to be supported in being able to do so, right? So not only that, but we see that this bleeds into their ability, their capacity to actually stay in these places of leadership where we need women, but they are also emotionally exhausted. They are resentful. They have eroded those personal and professional boundaries. They are unconsciously modeling codependence because this is a very unhealthy dynamic. This I can't sit still. I need to fix it. Everyone else comes before me, right? You are then directly passing that on to your children because they are not going to absorb what you have said. They are not going to absorb the books that you give them. They are going to pick up with your unfinished business. So even if you have given them everything in the world and you have said, I have worked this hard so that you can have this life, beautiful, give them my card because I guarantee you they will be doing this work in 30, 40 years. The work that you choose not to do, that you step away from, you are directly passing on to future generations. And not only that, but the leadership dynamic itself is nothing compared to where it should be. It is not heartfelt. It is not connected. I guarantee you it is not connected to the team downstream. It doesn't have the ability to receive constructive criticism because it is based on performance and not connection. So I want to talk about the 3 steps to breaking this pattern. I already talked about why it's an issue, all the things, right? The first thing I want you to do is to pause. I want you to take a deep breath because if you can't feel it in your body that you have this impulse, this immediate desire to fix it, I'm uncomfortable, you will never be able to make a different decision. So you have to practice pausing and noticing what is happening in your body. When you get that call, whether it is from someone on your team that somewhere communication has fallen off and now everything is like a mess, or it is a call from your partner who's having a breakdown because the kids are melting down and he doesn't know what to do about it, take a minute and notice what's happening in your body. Typically, heart rates take off. Typically, we feel tension. We notice that like some heat can start to move its way upward in our body. And typically our body language is also moving forward, right? We are literally being pulled into action. And then I want you to ask yourself, what is this sensation in my body communicating to me? Usually it's like, fix it right now, make it better or else, right? So then the second question, the second step to breaking this reflex is giving yourself a different narrative. Get curious about the narrative. We have to be able to identify where it is. It starts in the body, it starts on the nervous system, and then we have to give ourselves a different narrative. It is simply not true that the world is going to catch on fire and burn down if you do not bend over backwards and come out and manage the children's emotional experiences simply because your husband gets overwhelmed often. It is simply not true that you are going to lose your job, or again, the world is going to burn down if you allow your team to experience the consequences of their ability, right? If they need to learn how to step up to the plate, beautiful. Let's make sure they have that support, but then let's allow them to actually figure it out on their own. And it might be very uncomfortable, but the world is not going to end. You are allowing them the opportunity to step up to the plate. And they will never do it if you do not allow them to do so. The third step to beginning to rewire this nervous system reflex is you have got to do some work on your identity. Because if this is an episode that has resonated with you, if you are the person that is, oh my gosh, I pride myself. I wear that stress like a badge of honor, right? As Brene Brown says, I love being the person that people come to no matter what. They can confide in me and I will fix things. Then that is the core of your identity. And if you don't have something different to put in its place, you are going to cling to this old identity till the cows come home. Because who am I if I'm not the person who gets it done? If you can't answer that question, you've got to work on that before you are ever going to stand a chance of actually rewiring this response, this reflex, right? And I do mean rewiring because, again, it is very natural. It is this sensation shows up in my body based on the emotional energy in the room, and I automatically move into action. When I say we are rewiring, we are like trying to reroute the Grand Canyon in your brain, and we are trying to build a different neural pathway. It is not easy. We have to give context and situationship to be able to tell our body we are safe and we're going to be okay if we disappoint people. In fact, it is healthy and beautiful to disappoint people with our humanity. This is healthy intimacy. Intimacy does not exist when you are constantly go, go, go for other people. Okay. So I want you to take away this. I want you to write this down. I want you to pass this on to a neighbor, a woman who needs to hear this episode. Leadership is not about being everything to everyone. Leadership is about staying connected to yourself as you guide and support others. If you have lost that connection with self, then you have absolutely lost your foot in healthy leadership. This goes for your family at home. This goes within your marriage, and this absolutely goes in the C-suite. So a few questions that I would love for you to reflect on if this is an episode that has resonated with you is, where are you rescuing in the name of leadership? Where are you rescuing and calling it love? And what would it feel like to trust the people around you to rise and support you? So if you are interested and ready to unwind the patterns keeping you stuck in overfunctioning and over responsibility, I invite you to take my self-trust and leadership inventory. It's a free quiz, and it's going to get you started on this path. It's going to get you started on moving from a place of self-abandonment into a place of self-trust. And it is designed specifically to help executive women lead from clarity and not exhaustion. Alrighty, friend, that is all for today's episode of the Aligned Powerhouse Podcast. I want to thank you so much for tuning in. And do me a favor, if this episode resonated, I want you to share it with another powerhouse woman in your life who is ready to lead and love from a place of self-trust. And don't forget to follow, subscribe, and leave a quick rating or review. It really does help more women find this work. New episodes drop every week. Until then, lead with self-trust and let yourself be seen.